Nick aimed at the deer in front of him, but when he pulled the trigger, the bullet hit a boy. This scared Nick out of his wits. He rushed forward to check on the situation. God help him, the boy had already stopped breathing. Just as Nick stood there not knowing what to do, the boy's father happened to hear the noise and walked over. When he saw that his child had lost his life, the father was overcome with grief. In his rage, he picked up his weapon and aimed it at Nick. Nick was terrified at this moment. He kept trying to explain that it wasn't intentional. However, the man had no intention of forgiving him. Just as the man was about to shoot Nick, Nick's good friend Pete shot and killed the man from a distance. What should have been a hunting feast had now turned into a deadly incident. This caused Nick's mental state to somewhat collapse. But to escape responsibility, Pete dragged Nick away from the scene. Nick was too scared to speak, but Pete calmly analyzed how to avoid responsibility. On their way back, they came up with a plan. To establish an alibi, they first went to a restaurant, pretending they'd been hunting all day and were hungry and tired. They deliberately chatted with people at the next table, casually mentioning that their hunting spot was far away. Then they returned to the motel and chatted with the landlady about their hunting harvest. Their lies temporarily freed them from people's suspicions. However, they knew this was only a temporary plan. They had to quickly dispose of the bodies at the scene and then leave this small town the next day. Only then could they completely escape suspicion. So in the middle of the night, they quietly returned to the scene of the incident. They dug a deep pit and then placed the bodies of the father and son in it. After cleaning up the scene, they returned to the motel again, planning to leave town at daybreak. However, their plan was disrupted once more. A group of people appeared downstairs and slashed their car tires. Pete rushed forward to confront them about why they did this. It turned out that on Pete's first night in this small town, he had slept with this man's daughter. The man considered Pete an irresponsible scumbag and planned to teach him a lesson. Fortunately, the mayor spoke up for Pete and Nick, which stabilized the situation. But the tires had already been damaged, and Nick and Pete had to temporarily abandon their plan to leave. They found a repair shop to fix the car, but the mechanic told them it wouldn't be ready until the next day. They could only anxiously stay in this small town for another day. However, while drinking at the bar, they heard news about the missing father and son. Nick and Pete immediately tensed up. They worried that the residents would connect this incident to them and quickly found an excuse to leave the bar. Unexpectedly, the mayor came looking for them that night. The mayor wanted to invite them to search for the father and son in the woods together. To avoid showing any flaws, Nick agreed. The movie is called Caliber.